welcome to section 2 of chapter 6. We're going to be talking about monomial fractions today. You learned about your power rules in your last section, but a lot of those were with multiplication or power to a power. And this is a whole separate rule that has its own special thing because it's a little involved. So we're going to go through how to simplify fractions that have like bases. So if you look down below at some of the examples, we're going to simplify a to the fourth over a, b to the second over b to the ninth. We're going to be simplifying those to the best of our ability. So there's a couple different ways to do this. If you're a visual person, there's going to be a visual method. How about that? And if you are more of a quick, easy, get it done, shortcut kind of person, there's going to be a way to do that as well. So if I were to expand these monomials, remember monomial is one term. We learned that in your last section. Let's see what would happen. So I don't know if any of you were here when we had our previous principal, Mr. Humpa. He was a great math teacher before he was a principal, and he taught me a way to do this, and it's kind of stuck with me. He talked about how simplifying monomial fractions is a lot like a civil war, and I'll show you why. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So n to the 7th power is the same thing as n times n, 7 n's, okay? That's what this means, okay? So we're expanding it. If you have n to the 4th, that's the same thing as n times n times n times n, okay? So if you're a visual person, this is a way you can simplify monomial fractions visually, okay? So Mr. Humpa used to say this is like a civil war because it's like you're battling each other. So this is the north and this is the south. So we're going to cancel out any similarities that we see. So these guys are gone, these guys are gone, these guys are gone, and these guys are gone. So after they battle it out, north versus south, all we have left are 3 n's in the north or on the top, okay? So how we would write that is n to the 3rd power over 1, or you could just write it as n to the 3rd power, okay? So that's your visual method. Let's see how it would look on this fraction if we expand it. So this time we have n times n times n times n on top, and then 7 n's on the bottom. So we're still going to have that civil war. Let's see who battles it out. These guys are gone, 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 and gone. So now we have 3 n's on the bottom that are left over, or in the south. So we have 1 on the top over n to the 3rd on the bottom. Okay? So that's a visual way to simplify monomial fractions. You can list out or expand all of your variables and then figure out what's left over after you cancel out the similarities. That's the long method. I'm not going to lie, some of these are going to get pretty involved, but if you are having a hard time with this section, go back to the visual method. Okay, that's how you simplify monomial fractions. But there is a shortcut way. So if you're a quick, easy kind of person, the shortcut that you can do to simplify these is to subtract. Let me change my color here. You can just subtract the exponents of those like bases. They have to be like. And you're going to leave the result in the top or bottom. Oops. Sorry. Whichever one has the greatest amount. So if there were more on the top, that's where your final answer is going to go. If there's more on the bottom, that's where your final answer is going to go. So it depends on which had the greatest amount. So if you look up here, n to the 7th minus n to the 4th, that gives you n to the 3rd. And there were more in the north or in the top, so that's where I put my answer. Okay, so if you don't want to list them all out like this, which I wouldn't blame you, you can do the shortcut by subtracting and put the biggest amount on top, or wherever it is, okay? So you're going to simplify the coefficients. Remember, the coefficients are the number in front. So these didn't have a coefficient. Down here, no coefficient. This is our coefficient. So if ever you have coefficients or numbers in front, you have to simplify those coefficients like you simplify a fraction. Oops. So you can use that ABC button. So write ABC button here if that's what you use to simplify, or you can figure out what you can divide by each. Okay? So this is the shortcut. This is the visual method. You decide which one's best for you. On the notes, just for time's sake, I'm going to show you how to do it the shortcut way. Okay? But if you don't like that way, go back and do the long way. Okay? So let's take our first set of monomial fractions. So we have like bases, a to the fourth and a. Remember, there's a little to the first power there if you can't see it. So what I can do with those like bases is I can subtract. So 4 minus 1 is going to give us 3. Which side wins? The top, the north, is going to win. So that means I'm going to put a to the third power because I subtracted, and there's more on top, so I'm going to put it on top. You can put a 1 down here if you want. You don't have to. Okay, but as a place saver, you can put it there. All right, let's take our b's. So we have b to the second and b to the ninth. I'm going to subtract them. You can just do regular 9 minus 2, bigger numbers minus the smaller number. So 9 minus 2 would give you 7, and there's more on the bottom. So I'm going to put b to the 7th on the bottom. Okay? So you always double check, is there anything else you could simplify? You can't. These aren't like bases. So you can literally write this like this: a to the third over b to the 7th. Okay? And that's your final answer. All right, let's look at the next one. So we're going to take, I've got coefficients here. 20 over 5. If I simplify that fraction, 20 over 5, it would give you 4 over 1. Okay? So I simplified my coefficients. You could type that into your ABC button. It would give you that same answer. So 4 over 1. And then we have b to the third over b to the 8th. So we're going to subtract those exponents. So 8 minus 3 is 5. There are more on the bottom. So that means I'm going to put b to the 5th on the bottom of my fraction. Okay, so you can leave it like that, or you can simplify 4 over b to the 5th. Remember, that 1 is just a placeholder. Okay? All right, let's look at this last one here. So we have our coefficients, 4 over 6. If you use your ABC button or figure out how to simplify that, you would get 2 over 3. All right, and then we're going to look at our x's, our like bases. So we have x to the 7th and x to the 3rd. I'm going to subtract. There's more on the top, so I'm going to have x to the 4th on the top. And then I'm going to take my y's. So I have y to the 4th, y to the 10th. I'm going to subtract. I get y to the 6th, and there's more on the bottom, so I'm going to put y to the 6th on the bottom. And then you're all simplified. Alrighty? That's it for monomial fractions. These are combination problems. I want every single one of you to try these on your own. It's a little tricky. There's more involved. You have to remember the power rules from yesterday, but everyone needs to give it a shot, either by yourself or with a partner that is also finished. Before you do anything else today, you need to show me that you know how to do these problems, or at least work it through with me. Okay? So try these combination challenge problems, and then you can move on. All right? Good luck.